Hi, and welcome back to another Stratazine podcast. My name is James Rognan. I'm here today with Brenna, Sarah, Derek, Aaron, and Lauren. Today we are going to be talking about how to prepare for social media careers after college. And first starting us off is Brenna. And you researched, let's see here, the latest on what companies expect for creatives today. Could you introduce us and tell us what you discovered?
Yeah, so I have reached out to alumni, found articles and job descriptions to find out what companies expect of creatives today. Let's look at what I found.
Hey y'all, my name is Brenna Wright, and I'm here to share with you a bit about what employers expect of social media creatives today. First, I looked at articles like What Makes a Good Manager for Social Media from Post Beyond, another article called Employer Branding on Social Media, Tips and Benefits from Universum, an article from Ferretly called How Can Social Media Affect Your Job Opportunities, and lastly, an article from MSW Youth called Social Media and Your Career, What Employers Are Really Looking At. The words and phrases on the screen are some of the data that I input into ChatGPT. I asked Chat to look at these articles and take the collective top 10 skills. Then I went to Indeed and searched up different social media jobs like content creators and social media managers in LA, Rexburg, Salt Lake, and Denver. I took 24 jobs total and asked Chat to search how many times these skills from the articles were mentioned. This led to the data that you see on the screen. Lastly, I reached out to some alumni to see what they had to say, and they said things like create, hard skills, and soft skills are necessary for jobs in social media today. And then these are the sources that I used.
Okay, so one of the higher valued skills was authentic communication. One of the things that is classified as authentic communication is emphasis on maintaining brand voice and tone. So do you guys know of any resources on campus where students can practice this?
The PPC is great for. Wait, the question was how to. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Maintain brand voice and tone.
Okay, so there's a lot of classes that go around it, like digital marketing, digital branding.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When I took digital branding, we had specifically learned about brand voice and tone and did like that as part of our projects in that class. So that's what I was thinking as well.
Most, if not all, of the practicums that I've done so far have been very specific on brand voice and tone, as well as staying within a specific branding guide, so not just the voice and tone, but also the color scheme, the types of formats of videos, photos, whatever the case may be, to communicate a consistent message across platforms.
Yeah. Something that I was specifically thinking of was the Soapbox practicum or agency, because we have the practicum and then we also have the job. And if you're not like on with the brand voice and tone, then you're going to like really mess up and not get a good grade or not do well in your job. Okay, and then something that one of the alumni said was to tell a story. One of the high valued skills from the articles was storytelling. So what resources do y'all know of on campus or off campus in Rexburg that can allow people to learn these skills?
I think something that a class that I took that I learned a lot about storytelling was video production. We had to create storyboards and just make sure we were making sure we were like conveying the story that we wanted to the audience. So I think video is a big thing with like scripts and everything. And there's also a screenwriting practicum on campus, which is really good.
Nice.
When I took your class, James, digital imaging, a couple years ago, I learned a lot about storytelling just even in a single 3D image. It's not just about taking a single good photo or a technically good photo. It's about telling a story and making sure that what you're seeing and what you're trying to convey is being communicated properly to other people that can see that.
Awesome. It makes me happy to hear that.
Yeah, I also think of the photography classes in the art department as well, because I'm actually taking one of those next semester, and I'm so excited to learn more about storytelling through black and white images. I think that's going to be really fun. But yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks, Brenda, for kind of walking us through that. Next up, we're going to have Sarah. You've been looking into tools that to use to build a resume, right, for social media. Tell us more.
Yes, thank you. I found many tools to help build a resume. Many of them are actually in the BYU Idaho Career Center and my video.
Magazine, How to Prepare for a Career After College, How to Stand Out Among Other Creatives in the Workforce. BYU Idaho offers many resources, including 7 videos on how to build a resume. In these videos, it says an employer spent 7.5 seconds reviewing your resume. You need to stand out. How do we do that? Your research. Find their core values and apply them to your resume so you can show them that you fit in. You can even go on LinkedIn and gather advice from the alumni, how they entered the workforce. In the Career Guide article, How to Write a Recent Graduate Resume, it mentions that contact information, education, and summary are very important. You want to put the summary on the top so your employer can easily scan it and know that you are a good fit. You can then run it through VMock to make sure that it is well organized and ready for the workforce. I hope this helps.
Yes, so although formatting is important, we're going to talk a little bit more about the research and social media aspect. And there, like kind of what you said, there is a lot of tools on campus that can help teach how to learn the brand voice. Because it's one thing to know how to create it, and it's another thing to learn the voice of the career you want to go into, because that will help you stand out.
Awesome. You guys have to do internships. Have you guys done that? Have you used any of these tools to you work on your resume and kind of get out there?
So I haven't done my internship yet, but I'm preparing for it. So, in the past, I have gone to the Career Center, and I've had them help me with my resume. And in the future, I plan to go for help with interviewing, because they can really help you. They give you scores for your interviewing. They do it through AI, and kind of like the VMock, because how it's explained to me is that VMock is the AI that companies use to scan your resumes, and then someone was like, well, if they can use it, why can't we? So
Yeah, interesting.
Something that a class that I took that I learned a lot is Business 301. So it teaches you how to do a cover letter, resume, and something really important that I've learned is to tailor your resume to the specific job that you're applying for. And I'm actually applying for internships right now, so that's what I'm trying to do. Just the keywords on the job description, I'm trying to add that to my resume if I fit into that. So I think that's really important. It's just not having one resume and just applying to everything. I think you need to take time to do research and tailor your resume.
I second that. I mean, as we're in college, we've probably already each had 3, 4, 5 jobs each, right? You switch jobs a lot. And so not everything that you did at the beginning of your career is going to be relevant. And so really making sure that you curate what is there. And even if something does stay there, don't always leave the same, paragraph of information. Make sure those keywords are relevant to the job that you're looking for.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for walking us through that. We're going to move on to our next segment with Derek, right?
Yes.
And you kind of looked into portfolios and that kind of stuff when it comes to social media, yeah?
Yes. I have found ways to successfully build a portfolio for social media that are very simple but very effective ways, and that is presented here in my video.
Hey guys, my name is Derek Dana, and I'm here to help you build a strong media portfolio. That is best explained in 6 simple steps. Step 1. Define your purpose. Before you build a portfolio, decide what it is for. Ask yourself, are you applying for jobs, trying to attract freelance clients, showcasing personal branding or influencer work, things like that. Step 2. Choose your format. Pick the best platform to present your work, such as a website or a PDF slide deck or social media account itself. Step 3. Showcase your best work. Include 5 or 10 high-quality examples of your content. Organize them by type or platform. Step 4, highlight your skills. Dedicate a section to your core strengths. For example, content strategy, video editing, graphic design, analytics, influencer marketing, or ad campaigns. Step 5, add a personal touch. People like to see the person behind the content. A short bio about your background and niche, your personal social media handles, a professional photo or creative selfie, or any brands or collaborations you've worked on. And finally, step 6, make it easy to contact you. Guys, include your email or website or link in bio or Calendly link for backing calls. Add a clear work with me or contact button at the end.
Awesome. So right there was in that very brief presentation was, again, very simple but very effective steps to building a portfolio. And I've reached out to a few alumni who have given me that same advice, is to build a portfolio, to make whatever field you're going in. For me, it's video production. It's like, and I've learned how to make videos, how to edit, and how to produce videos and all. And they've all given me advice to put that online and to make a portfolio so that other people can see your work, and that's very helpful for to explore jobs and to get a job. So I guess the question is, what tips do you all have on building a portfolio? Like any extra tips there?
My first tip would be to start when you're young. I mean, even if you're looking at the work you did as a freshman and you think, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I believe I put this out there in the world. You never know. It could be relevant to a future job. And so hold on to things and, curate as you go. It's very similar to what I said about resume building, right? You never know what a specific job is going to want until they ask for it. And so just hold on to those portfolio building pieces in case they do.
Great. Yeah. Always start somewhere. Even if you're that young, you should always start somewhere, because it's not always going to be great at the beginning, but you obviously learn through experience. But I just have one more question that come to mind. What thoughts do you all have on having a portfolio and how important that can be in your job exploration? How do you think that would be effective?
I think it shows the employer what you can do. Something that I've learned, I think I had an interview with someone for a class, and they were like, don't not focus only on assignments, do passion projects outside of school. So I think that can also show in your portfolio. That wasn't just for a class because you really are passionate about it. So I think the employer can see that in your portfolio. So yeah, I think it just shows where you're capable of and what you can learn too, because I know you go into the job to learn even more. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, those are great thoughts. I think it's very important to have that and to have some structure and and make sure to have goals, because it's very important to set goals and to work on them. And again, even if it's small, if it's not great at first, you will learn through experience, and that is how you're going to get the things that you desire through hard work and through perseverance. So
awesome. I know personally for me, I've before coming to teacher, I was a hiring manager. I worked at a couple of agencies and that kind of stuff, right? And one thing that I always did, hiring a bunch of creatives, I actually would skip the resume. I'd open up the resume, but the entire purpose was only to look for their portfolio link. And I would go into that because, I don't know, you guys probably have heard this. Anyone can lie on a resume, right? Portfolio, that's where the proof is. That's where it really shows us what's happening. Just to kind of do one more quick story on this. I remember one of my first interviews leaving college. So I'm an alumni here too, right? At BYUI. And leaving college, I remember on the phone with this agency, and I was watching him on live Google Analytics on what page he was on my website, on my portfolio. And at the time I had thought, oh man, I'm just going to throw everything out there, everything that I've done. And I remember at a point in the interview, I just remember thinking, please don't click next, please don't click next. And then he eventually clicked next and immediately, like quickly, fire drill, got off the phone and was like, thanks. And I never heard back from him again, right? So my recommendation, one, yes, portfolios are incredibly important, but two, curate. Build stuff out. There comes like a time when you don't need as many that you might think you need. Does that make sense? And so, yeah, curate, get advice, get feedback from others, and all of that kind of stuff. So awesome. Thanks, Derek, for kind of walking us through that portfolio. Next up, Erin, you're going to talk to us about networking in college.
Yes, I found some really important and interesting information about how networking isn't what it was 30 years ago, how it's kind of changing the game specifically for communication students and marketing students. So let's dive in. As the saying goes, if you're not networking, you're not working. According to NPR, anywhere from 70 to 80% of available jobs are not publicly posted. A LinkedIn survey upped that number even more, revealing that 85% of jobs were found through networking. What does that mean for you? It means that you must be actively working to expand your network and land yourself one of these jobs available. Beyond just finding the job, the Harvard Business Review found that there is a correlation between professionals that prioritize networking and making a higher salary. In other words, if you want to make money, make connections. Regarding starting networking, NBC recommends that those seeking work focus less on applying to many jobs and more on making a focused impact on the roles that you are applying to. Spend time connecting on LinkedIn or over email. Explain to those potential employers the connection that you have to the company and the potential impact that you would make. Remember that networking doesn't need to mean meeting new people. It can also be taking advantage of the already large group of people around you that you know and making valuable connections with them. So networking is definitely important and also fascinating as it changes. I want to hear from you guys. What's kind of the first phrases or words that come to mind when you think of networking?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah.
I'm curious, like when we talk about, because I think I'm the same way, LinkedIn, like why LinkedIn? What about it? How do we use it in a way to kind of really utilize that networking option? Sorry, I'm throwing a curveball.
No, that's okay. That's good. I think LinkedIn it's in my eyes, it's always been Facebook for professionals. Basically, that it's not just about sharing things to share. It's sharing with a purpose. It's trying to put your best foot forward and showing the progress that you've made in your career and what you can offer to other people.
Yeah, I love that. I think something that comes with it, like now working in LinkedIn, I think something that I've learned is that sometimes it's not about like what you know, it's about like who you know. Mm-hmm. So I actually had experience with that. Here on campus, I ended up getting a job as a copywriter because of one of my professors that recommended me. And I had applied to that job before just with my resume, but I didn't hear back. So it was incredible to see the difference that knowing someone made. So yeah, I think that's super important, not just in college, but in the future too.
Definitely.
I was on LinkedIn the other week asking alumni for advice. Mm-hmm. And I had one person actually reach out to me saying that the only reason they got a job was because of the connections they had.
Yeah, there you go. I've actually had a similar experience. At my last job, I was working in customer service, which you would think wouldn't get me any opportunities that I would want. But I made friends with the people in the marketing department, and it came a point where I was, desperate to find an internship. I was applying everywhere, and nothing was happening. And so I just went over to my friends in the marketing department, and I said, hey, this is what I'm wanting to do. I basically want to have your job someday. Would it be possible to have an internship with you guys? And it wasn't an overnight decision. After about a month of deliberating and all the executives getting together and whatnot, they were able to put together an internship for me at this job. And it was a great experience that, I mean, like we saw in the video, it's not always about the job postings that are available because millions of people can see that. Thousands of people are going to be applying for that same role. But approaching those people around you are going to find those jobs that aren't necessarily right in front of everybody, but that you might be perfect for and give you those opportunities. Does anybody else have any experiences with networking, success stories or otherwise?
Well, basically, what some people were saying is like I also know people, alumni specifically, who've gotten jobs mainly because of connections, and just because like they known people like in their class or throughout school, and like and that's been very helpful for them to able to explore and get a job, and I know some people personally who also have experienced that, and that it can be a and it can be a great thing in their lives.
Definitely. Well, the last thing I want to really emphasize is that networking isn't something that you're born with. It's definitely a skill, and it's something that you can get better with at times. So if you're horrible at it right now, that's okay, but just don't stay horrible at it. Make sure you're putting yourself in opportunities to connect with people and growing professionally.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Erin. Thanks for running us through networking. Lauren, you're up next with how students can prepare for their future careers while still in college, right?
Yes.
What did you find out? What did you
So,
learn?
yeah, it was really interesting. I did some research on how important that can be, like to get experience during college and how that can really help you after graduating. So, yeah, we can watch the video on that. Gaining real-world experience during college is definitely a plus and can make students stand out after graduating. The Iowa State website talks about how on-campus jobs are a great option for students as they offer more flexibility and students can work in between classes. Boston University mentions how supervisors, especially with on-campus jobs, can serve as mentors. It mentions how research shows that students who experience good mentoring tend to have greater career advancement potential. According to Indeed, working in college is a great opportunity to network, creating connections that can help students while looking for jobs in the future. Lastly, something super beneficial about working on a field of interest during college, social media, as we're talking here, is how students' resumes will look like. According to the Vector Impact, their resume will stand out from the crowd because they already have work experience. And that'll also show the employer that they had focus and time management skills to balance school and work at the same time. Okay, awesome. So yeah, it was really interesting to see how beneficial it can be working either like on campus or like off campus during college. And I wanted to ask if any of you guys have that experience, like working while still studying, like in a field that you would go into in the future.
Yeah, so I've literally just last week, my friends and I, we've had an experience of going to an actual film set out in Rigby, and it was an amazing experience because we're all video production students, and and just learning how to what equipment they're using, how their cameras work, and like how cinematography works, and how direction works, and production, and it was a really amazing experience, and and I've learned a lot, and the advice that I was given is to not only experience things inside the classroom, but also gain as much experience outside of the classroom, because that's where you can at least for me, I built a lot of connections there just from that one experience and other experiences prior. So yes, that was that's an experience that I've had that's very very helpful to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Yeah, the concept of not just learning inside of the classroom, but like having that real experience. For me, I've worked at some different jobs here on campus, and something that I've learned is because I've kind of during my major kind of changed my focus and emphasis. So it's been really interesting to work. I've worked as a copywriter, and I work as a communication specialist with more a little bit of event planning, and it's been really interesting to just to go into those different fields and see what I like, and hopefully that As the research says, that will help me when looking for jobs in the future because I do have a bit of experience with it. So yeah, it's super beneficial, and yeah, like Derek said, we need to go out there and learn. So yeah.
I had an interesting experience when I was a junior in high school. I was taking a photography class just for fun, I thought, not knowing what I would be going into in the future. But I got really comfortable using the Adobe Suite, specifically Photoshop, in that first year. And then the following year, my senior year of high school, I was hired at a photography studio, which was my first experience of, oh, this isn't just for fun. This can be like a job. And it was really cool to see those skills that I was learning in a high school classroom transfer. And then, of course, it's just expanded from there as I've moved on to choose communications as my major and found internships and jobs. And so it's really interesting how that experience has affected me up to today, really.
That's great. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Kind of on the tail end of this too, I'll share my story of kind of leaving BYU Idaho as for my undergrad. And I think it actually hits on everything that you guys covered, because I've seen this in my own career. You know, creative expectations from employers when they're leaving, when students are leaving college. It's can you do the work? Do you know how to do it? It's not necessarily like, are you top tier? I think there's a bar that they want to get you guys to, right? And so there's kind of the strategy side of things, there's the creative side of things, and that creation. And one thing that helped me a ton when going to college, I actually networked. To me, one of the best ways of networking is your peers. So the people that you're doing projects with. And I was working on a project in a class, and one of the guys I was working with, he had a brother-in-law that was running an SEO firm in Utah, and they were looking for someone to design out infographics and create that kind of content. And I ended up taking it on. They wanted someone cheap. I learned a lot. I look back at some of the first ones that I did, and it's really bad. But over time, I quickly got a lot better. I picked up other work, like design work and that kind of stuff. And then when I left, what I found is, and this is true, all but one of the jobs that I've applied for or that I've gotten has come from someone that I met at BYUI. Either a peer, a teacher, or that kind of stuff, right? And so that networking that's one of the benefits of college is you have this like kind of alumni group that you can connect with pretty easily. And so that work experience, like they didn't even look at my resume really when I left. They looked at what I had done, my portfolio, but I handed it over to someone that I already knew, and they immediately were like, yep, let's go on. And within a pretty short amount of time, I had the job. And I've kind of seen that ever since throughout the different positions that I've held. It's always about the back door. It's not going in through the typical, like, let's blast out like 2,000 resume, applications, that kind of stuff. It's work smarter, apply with one. So thanks again for everyone for kind of walking us through this, and this marks the end of this edition of Stratazine. Make sure for the viewers that enjoyed this, check back on YouTube for other podcasts and other topics that we cover when it comes to social media. Thanks.